My so-called life is sponsored by Last Christmas I gave you my heart and you gave it. No, what's the song? Last Christmas I gave you my heart and the very next day you gave it away. You know what? I have officially lost it. It is the Christmas season. I'm eating mashed potatoes with every meal. I'm putting chocolate syrup in every drink that I come across because it is the holiday season. This is the time of food, fun, and excess. I decided on a whim to go to the Goodwill bins, but because I'm extremely dramatic, I went 300 miles to Las Vegas, Nevada. And let me tell you, I had an amazing adventure. But like I always say, instead of talking about it, let's go check it out. I know I can't sing. I can't sing. I can't dance. I hit my microphone, but I still do it. Last year, I gave you my heart.
Get the most fun out of life, out of being a mother and wife, with new fashion excitement that's all created by you. On your new Touch and Sew sewing machine by Singer. Touch and Sew, another first from Singer.
Be the girl with the golden touch on your new Singer Golden Touch and Sew machine. Dozens of exclusive features, like this new built-in needle threader for the golden slant needle and the push-button bobbin that winds right in the machine. What a wonderful new feeling. You can do all three kinds of sewing: straight, zigzag, and chain stitch.
Touch and Sew, the push-button bobbin way.
Come sew on one at your Singer Center. Choose from 5 Touch and Sew models from $149.95.
What's new for tomorrow is at Singer today.
So while going through my fabric stash, I found a 9-yard roll of orange tweed. I thought I was completely done with this material, and I had to laugh because I really couldn't remember when I purchased this humongous roll of tweed. But I was excited to see it because it matches the suit that I made a while ago. So I decided to make a cape, and I am utterly and completely in love with how this turned out, how it looks, and this is perfect for the cold time of year. You know, I'm really starting to fall in love with the Victorian cape style. This is beautiful and another addition to the House of Sewing. So for a while now, I've been talking about how I want to go to the Sandy thrift store. It's on the California-Nevada border, and it's just one of those places where whenever I go to Las Vegas, I'm always going in the middle of the night because it's easier to drive at night than during the day, but it's because there's less people. It has nothing to do with the weather. It's just there's not as many cars on the road. So I'm never in that area during business hours, and I decided to plan a trip around this one particular store. So I left in the middle of the night, which was more Saturday morning, and I found an adventure. While driving through the desert, I kept on seeing these green meteors just streaking through the air. So I decided to pull over and take a look, and it was amazing. It was one of those things where, you know, all the time people say you should go outside and touch some grass. But really what it is you should go outside and experience nature. It is humbling to look up and see our place in the galaxy. To me, that is something that is amazing because I live in the land of light pollution. So after my experience, I went to Vegas, found an old haunt, and waited until the morning. And then I decided to go to the Goodwill bins. At first, I was like, I'm only here for one place, but Las Vegas is 42 miles from the border, so it's not that far. I was there and it was chaos. Usually when I go to the bins, I see the same people every single time. But I noticed there was a larger crowd and it was for a reason. Everything in the Goodwill bins was 99 cents a pound. I went crazy. I was grabbing things left and right. I was literally throwing items over my shoulder into my cart. And then I saw it. I purchased a Singer sewing machine at the Goodwill bins. Do you know, for as much as I go to the bins, I have never seen a sewing machine there or anything that's even in the range of sewing machine supplies. So I was utterly and completely shocked when I found this. So I threw it in my cart. I went to the counter. I purchased quite a few items and I paid less than $20. So that got my beak wet and I went to another Goodwill and I found another sewing machine. And it just happened to have another sewing machine right next to it. So I purchased both of them. So by the time it was 9:30 in the morning, I had to tell myself to settle down because I hadn't even gone to the Sandy thrift store yet. The plan was to go there on the way home, but I bought so much stuff thrifting that I wanted to keep going. But I went and grabbed some more coffee and I decided to go to the thrift store. But before I went to the thrift store, I visited Las Vegas's Antique Mall. I love going to this place because they have every kind of weird knick-knack, odds and ends that you could possibly think of. I have a great time here, and it's not necessarily something where I buy something every time I go. It's just a great place to wander through. So when I was done wandering through there, I finally made it to Sandy Thrift. It's a bit of a drive from Las Vegas to the border, but I just drove 300 miles, so another 41 miles was nothing to me at this point. I was excited to go, and in a weird way, I'm never disappointed because I know what's there. I know the prices are going to be high, but they always have something that I can't find anywhere else except for at Sandy Thrift. I love every kind of overall that you could possibly think of. I love denim, and they have a huge selection. This is a thrift store. It's kind of a hipster place, but I absolutely love the fact that they have everything. Absolutely everything. And it's because they have the space. So every time I go here, I end up buying something and having an adventure. And it was worth it. In the end, I love what I do. I love sewing. I love going to the thrift store. I love buying fabric. I love seeing the look on people's faces when I walk in and they're like, "What are you going to do with all this fabric that you just purchased?" So, for as much as I wanted to go to the thrift store, as much as I wanted to go to Sandy Thrift, it was the adventure. It was being out amongst the people, driving in the middle of the night, pulling over in the desert, and enjoying myself. So this is my J.C. Penney's sewing machine. I purchased this in Las Vegas and I absolutely love Japanese clone sewing machines. There's a certain year that I stay away from. That's the 1979 to the 1990s. That's just because they were mass produced and most of the machine parts are plastic. This is a really well built sewing machine, so I'm excited to add it to the fleet, but it needs a little bit of work. It's not necessarily up to speed yet, but it's gonna get there. When working with sewing machines like this, you have to soak them. You have to add a bunch of oil, walk away, and then come back the next day. It's not necessarily something I like doing, but this will be ready next week. So if you've made it this far, I absolutely thank you. And like I always say, reinforce your seams, be yourself, and I will definitely see you next time.